Time for some weekend picks with our colleagues at Live. Now, have you used your Singapore Rediscovers vouchers, Olivia?
I have not even touched it, but I know you have used almost half of it, right?
Yeah. So I've used it for a boat trip down Boat Quay, that area.
Oh, nice.
As well as to pay part of my staycation during Christmas.
Great. Well, there are over 400 options where you can use your vouchers, with more being added each month. If you have no idea where you're going to spend your remaining or all of your credits on, travel correspondent Clara Lock is here to share some of the best deals she has found. So Clara, only Singaporeans 18 years old and above were eligible for these vouchers. So for families like me actually who have children below 18 years old, what are the best deals what are the best ways they can use these vouchers?
So all adults can buy up to 6 tickets for family members aged up to 18 years old with a subsidy of $10 per ticket. So I would say if you're going as a family, it's great if you can find attractions where the child ticket costs $10 or as close to $10 as possible, because then you're getting it for close to nothing. And some attractions have rolled out deals in conjunction with the SRV scheme. So for example, the Singapore Flyer, child tickets cost $10 and tickets for seniors 60 and above also cost $10, and that's less than half of what they used to cost. So if you're going as a family, only the adults pay full price and then everyone else gets a great discount. And there are lots of attractions with similar prices. Last week I was at the Red Dot Design Museum at Marina Bay, and I feel like that's one of the best deals you can get on SRV, because you get a great subsidy to go into the museum, and then on top of that you get credits that you can spend at the museum cafe and gift shop. So you get $10 on weekdays, and then you get $11 on off-peak days, which is Tuesdays to Thursdays, and these vouchers are even stackable.
Wow, so those are activities to do, right? What about staycations? Because these are getting more popular these days because we can travel, and I mean I've been on a staycation as well. So what are the best deals out there for staycations, Clara?
Yeah, so staycations have been super popular in the past 6 to 12 months, and actually if you've been thinking of one, there's really no better time to go than now, because hotels are bundling all these freebies like meal credits, late checkouts, discounts, and so I think you can look for staycations that you top up about $200 to $350 on top of your SRVs, and then you expect to get a whole bunch of these freebies thrown in. And so one example is Fullerton Hotel, where for $338 you get to stay in a premium courtyard room, and it comes with breakfast, late checkout on Sundays to Thursdays. You get complimentary tours, you get a Fullerton bear that you can bring home.
Right, okay, so we've heard from Clara, right, that staycations and attractions are probably your best value for money options. But Clara, what if I just want to, use the vouchers for a good meal? Can I do that?
Yeah, so many people have asked me this question. Can I use my SRV for food? So technically, the SRV is only meant for attractions, tours, and hotel stays. But you can sign up for tours where you can have a good meal and you can have a drink if that's what you're into. So for example, there's this tour called Kopi and Cha Bitter Brews with a Story, and that includes a bak kut teh lunch, and then you go on a tour where you learn about different kinds of traditional tea and coffee. You sample all these different brews, and then you hear the stories behind them. For instance, why Singapore's labourers used to drink kopi with butter instead of milk and sugar as many people have it nowadays. There are tours that you can take to distilleries, learn about gin, walk around Chinatown, taste traditional snacks, there's hawker food, and of course, if you want to learn something new and go on a tour as well, and then have a great meal to cap it off, you can sign up for a cooking class, which I think is a great way to spend the vouchers. Because, we do that all the time overseas, but we don't really think of doing a cooking class in Singapore. But for instance, there's a Thai cooking class where you visit a Thai supermarket, you learn about the imported Thai produce that we can get here, and then together with the guide, you cook tom yum soup, papaya salad, and this Thai coconut pudding dessert called kanum taco. And so, it's a great way to learn about this side of Singapore that maybe you would otherwise never see.
For more tips on how to use your Singapore Rediscovers vouchers, read Clara's story on straitstimes.com. And remember, the vouchers will expire on June 30th.
Now let's talk about a movie that stars two acclaimed, much-loved actors, Stanley Tucci and Oscar winner Colin Firth. Now they play a couple in Supernova. Tucci's character has early onset dementia and how each man comes to terms with that during this road trip they decide to go on.
Now, Haryanto, I really want to catch this one. Our film correspondent John Lui has already seen Supernova, and he gave it a 5-star rating actually. So John, it's a story about dementia. There have been many films about this particular topic though. How does this one compare or even differ from the previous movies that cover dementia?
Yeah, like you said, lately there's been a spate of movies with dementia as an angle in it. Maybe it's because everyone's getting older, I don't know. But even like Anthony Chen's Wet Season, right? You have a very strong character in the granddad who has dementia. But here, the dementia is not like a test of character, a test of soul for the protagonist, the main character. Here, the person with dementia is a real talking, still mentally fit person. So they engage in a series of very dramatic encounters, you might say.
Right. And you know, I know Olivia is a big fan of Stanley Tucci, and you mentioned it right earlier on as well, and you're an even bigger fan of Colin Firth. So John, you know, they are well known in the acting scene and they are good friends as well in real life. Do you think that close friendship helped them portray, you know, these roles as partners with more nuance?
Yeah, they have great chemistry. They are so relaxed. They come across as a couple who've been together for decades, you know. It's in a lot of films, sometimes you look at the two of them and they don't seem to be talking to each other. They seem to be talking at each other for the sake of the audience or looking at the audience to one side. But here you get the feeling that they're completely comfortable. They can do all kinds of things, including fart in front of each other and be fine with it.
Well, thanks for that, John. That was film correspondent John Lui.
Now, I must admit, I don't have breakfast in the morning, but I do know that one of the best breads you can have in Singapore are those made by hand instead of, you know, those churned out by machines.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Let's bring in STFood online editor Hedy Khoo to tell us all about Jie Bakery, which makes its bread from scratch every single day. So Hedy, how does Jie Bakery's handmade bread differ from those that I can buy from the franchises?
Well, I think, you know, these days most bakeries sell really good bread, but at Jie Bakery, the bread is outstanding. I didn't quite expect it to be of that quality, but they do supply to coffee and toast places. And I can see why people take the supply from them because it's so fine. The bread, when you eat it fresh, is so soft and so tender. And if you get there at the right time, I think like 11:15 or 4:30 when the fresh is hot right off the oven and it's still warm, it's really something special. And if you take it home, if you toast it, the texture changes and I think it's even better because it's almost like it's crispy. Yeah, provided you don't over toast it. You take a bite of it and then it's crispy and then it like melts in your mouth. And it's so amazing. I couldn't get enough of it. Yeah, very dangerous bread.
What are some of your favorites then, Hedy?
Okay, they have, in recent times, they started offering breads with fillings. So they have like a curry potato bun. They have, I think, a chicken ham and cheese bun. But basically, you know, all these buns, they even have a sambal bun. So most of it, the filling, they don't do it themselves, but it doesn't really matter because everything goes so well together. The filling and then the soft, fluffy bread. That's fresh, and they don't encourage you to keep the bread too long. They encourage you to consume it within a day, especially for the buns with the filling because they don't use any preservatives. But for me, I mean these buns with fillings are nice, but I still really have a soft spot for the traditional brown bread. And they had a great idea of making a miniature version instead of the gigantic loaves. So it's better for most people, you know, for small families or couples or even people living alone. So it's just like 170 for 8 miniature slices, and you can easily finish it. So for that, I think you can keep it up to 3 days. If you put it in the fridge, it can keep for about a week, and I bought an extra loaf and I forgot about it. And a week later, I tried it out, and it's amazing.
Wow, I must say I really love bread, so I am going to check that out. Well, thank you so much, Hedy. That was STFood online editor Hedy Khoo. You can find Tia Bakery at 123 Upper Paya Lebar Road. You can also check out the Friday pages in tomorrow's live section for more ideas on what you can do this weekend.